I want to ask you this about crazy lifting though, because like when you go to gyms, everyone knows like that guy, like that dude benches like 400 pounds. Everyone knows that guy kind of stands out. How much of that of getting to like crazy weight is like great genetics? Like in other words, if we all started, you, me, and 3 other guys, and we're all start training like day one, do we all get here if we train right and everything? Or you're like, well, no, some people would just plateau at like 300 and the rest of us, you know what I mean? Or is that something that it's just like by chance that would happen?
That's the coolest thing about being human is that like the interpretation that we get from anything is different for all of us. So
Right.
the inputs that we get is so much different than the output that we get. You have some people that are super positive. Anything negative that comes in, they're just super happy about it and they turn it into a positive. And you're like, what? How did they do that?
Yeah.
So some people with training, their body would handle the training as a negative. For other people, it would handle it as a positive. Some people would gain tons of muscle mass. Some people would gain tons of strength. You might have one guy who like doesn't really go hardly anywhere. Maybe he's worked out in that same group for 6 years and he gained, 3 pounds of muscle and lost a pound of fat. Meanwhile, the other guys gained, 15 pounds of muscle or something like that.
There's basically, it's like the variables are too great and we just don't know.
The variables are massive.
Yeah.
We all would like to pin our success to hard work, and no matter what it is, but there's a lot of statistics that point to not just things like genetics, but our zip code being like one of the premier things that still has to do with how successful people are. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that you handicap yourself and say, well, I grew up in a shitty neighborhood, so I can't do anything.
Yeah.
However, it does mean for some other people, someone like myself, grew up upper middle class, I did start out a little bit further on the, the race track of life, than other people. And
Sure.
I'm not ashamed to admit I had 2 amazing parents. They were there for everything, kiss my boo-boos, give me hugs, give me love.
Yeah.
I didn't need to go outside and externally search for that. So in short, when it comes to like training, the training for one person is going to be massively different for another. Who the fuck knows why?
Yeah.
Genetics play a big role. I mean, look at Nsima. Like Nsima's on my podcast.
Yeah.
He's 6'2", 240, 250, hung like a goddamn horse. We can only imagine. And extremely muscular. I mean, he's like 5% body fat or something.
It's really crazy physique, that guy. But that's, I mean, some of that is obviously his genetics, but he works really hard too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
That, I mean, the horse part is not from his hard work.
Yeah.
It's just.
It's from the bib hanger that he's using.
Yeah, that dude is. And he's also super competitive in jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. When it comes to the lifting side of things, so there is like a mindset, of believing in yourself, believing that you can do it.
That that kind of fascinates me because you said this about your brother. I also met your brother, Chris, at the show and then at the gym the next day.
He's insanely strong.
And you're like, he can just like go pick up 500 pounds.
725 pound deadlift. See if you can pull it up on his Instagram. 725 pound deadlift, or maybe 735 for 2 reps the other day, completely out of nowhere. He's a monster. Now he is using a trap bar and the range of motion is a little shorter or whatever. And he's a short, stocky guy. We can make whatever excuses we want, but his nickname is the Boar for a reason. He's
is that it right there?
Yeah, there you go. He's a strong,
how old is he?
2 fake hips, knee surgeries when he was young as well. He's going to be 50 coming up in November.
Okay, that's Bert's age. And guess what? Bert will be 50 in November.
Yeah, look at that. The fucking animal. Yeah, and 1 rep wasn't good enough, so he had to do another.
Okay.
Now, interesting with him, he's in tons of pain all the time. And you would think like, okay, well, it's from the lifting, but
yeah, get the baby.
We've done all kinds of stuff with him where we've had him, back off from lifting and stuff. We all have our own problems, we all have our own issues, and we're always trying to figure out ways of solving them. And for him, he's had chronic pain since he was a kid, so he's still working on trying to figure out that. Is
kind of interesting though, your records and your history with lifting, and you have a sibling who's 5 years older who's like, oh, I'm just casually deadlifting 725 pounds.
And he's always been really strong. In high school, I think he squatted like 675, which is 745 pound plates on the bar. I mean,
but I do think there's this thing that you said, because you hear about this, that like people who could really strong and lift, like about like turning it on, like saying like, here's the weight. And then it's just like, I don't know what happens in the head for you or when that happens. But, you know, I've never had like a crazy lift like that. Like the most I ever lifted was usually like trying to get reps of 225.
Right.
Like with squats, with a bench. I mean, I've pulled with deadlifts, you know, close to like 400 when I got into it, which was not even that long ago. And then I got injured. So I've never had, but when you see that, you go like, that person's brain must do something different, or they go like, this is 700 pounds.
The brain literally does something different. I think that strength is a form of genius in some way.
Yeah.
It's very much connected to how you can fire your central nervous system. And I think that's a kind of people don't think about that much when it comes to training. They're always thinking about the muscular system and people building up muscles and bodybuilding. But your central nervous system is what's responsible for being extremely explosive. And I've seen certain guys just be able to demonstrate it in ways that wouldn't matter how I trained. I would just never be able to, even with the strength that I had.
Yeah.
There's a guy that lifts in our area named Jeremy Avila, and he picks up 800 pounds for a deadlift faster than you can get up out of a chair. I mean, it's in the blink of an eye.
Have you seen this dude?
You're like, what the fuck?
On Instagram, swole. You know,
there's a lot of insane.
But this dude,
I am something, whatever.
Bro, this guy,
the guy who does the heavy Zercher squats and all that shit. There's a bunch of dudes that are crazy strong.
Man,
the strength of the female athletes has really come up a lot too, and that's embarrassing because like I was working on my deadlift a while back and I did like 525 for a set of 3 or something. I was like, this is kind of cool. I'm like, I'm going to post this. And I was about to post it. And I saw that this powerlifting girl, she did 525 for like a set of 5. I'm like, I'm not going to post it. Yeah. And that's Steffi Cohen, who's, you know, hold multiple all-time world records. Just unbelievable.
Okay. This handle is ITS DREAM.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy's insane.
What in the fuck, man?
No, it doesn't make sense. People throw him stuff as he's like got a bunch of weight on his back.
Bro, he
catches a water bottle, drinks it, and
he'll also do like, I think this one on the, like, yeah, he's walking around doing this shit. Like, I'm on my phone.
Yeah. Talk about text neck, right?
I mean,
it's unbelievable. You know, these obviously this guy has been training for a long time. I mean, look at that. That's just insane.
I mean, that could be you, Annie.
See, now, it's hard for me to say because of the weights that I lifted. So people are like, oh yeah, whatever. I don't think I'm anything like that guy.
No,
I don't have like whatever that guy has. I don't know. I just don't. I don't
mean,
think
he's alone here. No spotter.
No.
What is that? Is that 5, 6 plates?
He's got no wrist wraps, no elbow sleeves, and he's just there, you know, benching it like it's nothing. You know, from like doing your stand-up act, I'm sure like when you get off stage, you're probably thinking like, that was like pretty good, but I can tweak that a little bit. Yeah. And maybe you watch it or maybe you hear it back.
You
maybe
record
you get
them all,
a criticism from a friend. That's a positive criticism and you can kind of work on it.
It's the best actually when that happens.
And you keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. Lifting just feels to me like no different. Like,
really?
Like, oh man, I could have done that a little bit better. My timing I wonder if I did it this way. A lot of it for me was practice. I would practice and practice. And I think because my experience in school, where I was put in like specialty classes and I was always considered to be slow, my slowness later on became a huge asset. Like, I don't care how long this takes. I'm just going to figure this out.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call 2 bears, 1 cave.